जयमुदीरये अष्टाप्रायेषु भद्रेषु नित्यं भागवतसेवया भगवदुत्तमा श्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकीनन्दनाय च नन्दगोपाकुमाराय गोविन्दाय नमो नमः हरिः ओं श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। Okay, we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 4, Chapter 24. Chanting the song sung by Lord Shiva. Yeah, this is very famously known as Rudra Gita. Maitrevacha Vijitsva Vijitatsvo Dhirajasit Pruto Putra Pruto Sravaha Yaviyo Bhyo Dadat Kashta Bhratrabhyo Bhratravatsalaha. The great sage Maitreya continued, Vijitatsva, the eldest son of Maharaj Prithu, who had a reputation like his father's, became emperor and gave his younger brothers different directions of the world to govern, for he was very affectionate towards his brothers. हर्यकाश्यादिशत्प्राचीं धूम्रकेशाय दक्षिणां प्रचीतिं वृको संयाय तुर्यां द्रविणसे विभुः. Maharaj Vijitatsva offered the eastern part of the world to his brother Haryaksha, the southern part to Dhumrakesha, the western part to Vraka, and the northern part to Dravina. अन्तर्दानगतिं सक्राल् लब्ध्वान्तर्धानसंजितः अपत्यत्रयम् आधत्त शिखण्डन्यां सुसम्मतं. Formerly, Maharaj Vijitatsva pleased the king of heaven Indra and from him received the title Antardana. His wife's name was Shikandini and by her he begot three good sons. पावकः पवमानश्च सुचरिति अग्नयः पुरा वसिष्ठशापात् उत्पन्न पुनर्योगगतिं गताः. The three sons of Maharaj Antardhana were named Pavaka, Pavamana and Suchi. Formerly these three personalities were the demigods of fire, but due to the curse of great sage Vashishta, they became the sons of Maharaja Antardhana. As such, they were as powerful as the fire gods and they attained the destination of mystic yoga power, being again situated as the demigods of fire. अन्तर्धानो नभस्वत्यां हविर्धानम् अविन्दत य इन्द्रम् अश्वहर्तारं विद्वानपि न जग्नीवान्. Maharaj Antardhana had another wife named Nabhaswati, and by her he was happy to beget another son named Havirdhana. Since Maharaj Antardhana was very liberal, he did not kill Indra while the demigod was stealing his father's horse at the sacrifice. राज्ञां वृत्तिं कराधान दण्डशल्कादिदारुणां मन्यमानो दीर्घसत्रं व्यजेन विसस्रजः. Whenever Antardana, the supreme royal power, had to exact taxes, punish his citizens, or fine them severely, he was not willing to do so. Consequently, he retired from the execution of such duties and engaged himself in the performance of different sacrifices. Tatrapi hamsam purusham paramatmanam atmadruk yajastallokatam apa kushalena samadhinam. Although Maharaj Antardhana was engaged in performing sacrifices, because he was a self realized soul, he very intelligently rendered devotional service to the Lord, who eradicates all the fears of his devotees. By thus worshipping the Supreme Lord, Maharaja Antardhana, wrapped in ecstasy, attained his planet very easily. हविर्दानाद् दविर्दानि विदुरासूत शतसुतान् बर्हिषद्दं गयं शुक्लं कृष्णं सत्यं जितव्रतम्. Havirdhana, the son of Maharaj Antardana, had a wife named Havirdhani, who gave birth to 6 sons named Barhishat, Gaya, Shukla, Krishna, Satya, Jitta, Vrata. बर्हिषत्सु महाभागो हाविर्दानि प्रजापतिः क्रियाकाण्डेषु निष्णातो योगेषु च कुरुध्वः. The great sage Maitreya continued, "My dear Vidura, Havirdhana's very powerful son named Barhishat was very expert in performing various kinds of fruitive sacrifices, and he was also expert in the practice of mystic yoga. By his great qualification, he became known as Prajapati. यस्येदं देवयज्ञ यजनम् अनुयज्ञं वितन्वतः प्राचीनाग्रैः कुशैराशीद् आस्तृतं वसुधातलम्." Maharaj Barhishad executed many sacrifices all over the world. He scattered kusha grasses and kept the tops of the grasses pointed eastward. सामुद्रीं देवदेवोक्ताम् उपयेमे शतधृतिं यां वीक्ष्य चारु सर्वाङ्गीं किशोरीं शुश्वत् अलङ्कृतां परिकृत परिक्रमन्तीम् उद्वाहे चामे चाकमे चकमेऽग्निः सुखीं वह इव. Maharaj Barhishad, henceforth known as Prachina Barhi, was ordered by the supreme demigod Brahma to marry the daughter of the ocean named Shatadruti. Her bodily features were completely beautiful. She was very young. She was decorated with the proper garments, and when she came into the marriage arena and began circumambulating it, the fire god Agni became so attracted to her that he desired her company exactly as he had formerly desired to enjoy Shukhi. Vibhudharas Vibhudhasura let me see. विबुधासुरगन्धर्वा मुनिसिद्धनरोरगाः विजिता सूर्यया दिक्षु क्वणयन्त्यैव नूपुरैः. While Shatadruti was thus being married, the demons, the denizens of Gandharvaloka, the great sages and the denizens of Siddhaloka, the earthly planets and Nagaloka, although highly exalted, were all captivated by the tinkling of her ankle bells. प्राचीनबर्हिषपुत्राः शतधृत्यां दशाभवन् तुल्यनामव्रताः सर्वे धर्मस्नातः प्रचेतसः. King Prachinabarhi begot 10 children in the womb of Shatadruti. All of them were equally endowed with religiosity, and all of them were known as Prachetas. पित्रादिष्टा प्रजा सर्गे तपसेन्द्रुवम् आविशन् दशवर्षसहस्राणि तपसार्चं तपस्पति patim. When all these prachetas were ordered by their fathers to marry and beget children, they all entered the ocean and practiced austerities and penances for 10,000 years. Thus they worshipped the master of all austerity, the supreme personality of Godhead. यदुक्तं पतिः दृष्टेन गिरिशेन प्रसीदता तद् ध्यायन्तो जपन्तश्च पूजयन्तश्च संयताः. When all the sons of Prachina Barhi left home to execute austerities, they met Lord Shiva, who out of great mercy instructed them about the absolute truth. All the sons of Prachina Barhi meditated upon the instructions, chanting and worshipping them with great care and attention. विदुरौवाच प्रचेतसां गिरित्रेण यथासीत् पतिः सङ्गमः यद् उताह हरः प्रीतस्तन्नो ब्रह्मन् वदार्थवत्. Vidura asked Maitreya, "My dear Brahmana, why did the Prachetas meet Lord Shiva on the way? Please tell me how the meeting happened, how Lord Shiva became very pleased with them, and how he instructed them. Certainly, such talks are important, and I wish that you please be merciful upon me and describe them." Sangamah kalu viprahrshe शिवेनेह शरीरिणां Durlabho munayo dadhyur asangatyam abhipsitam. The great sage Vidura continued, O best of the Brahmanas, it is very difficult for living entities encaged within this material body to have personal contact with Lord Shiva. Even great sages who have no material attachments do not contact him, despite their always being absorbed in meditation to attain his personal contact. आत्मारामोऽपि यस्त्वस्य लोककल्पस्य राधसे शक्त्या युक्तो विचरति घोरया भगवान् भवः. Lord Shiva, the most powerful demigod, second only to Lord Vishnu, is self-sufficient. Although he has nothing to aspire for in the material world, for the benefit of those in the material world, he is always busily engaged everywhere and is accompanied by his dangerous energies like the goddess Kali and the goddess Durga. मैत्रेवाच प्रचेतसः पितुर्वाक्यं शिरसादाय साधवः दिशं प्रतीचीं प्रययुस् tapasya chetasaha. The great sage Maitreya continued, My dear Vidura, because of their pious nature, all the sons of Prachina Barhi very seriously accepted the words of their father with heart and soul, and with their words on their heads, they went toward the west to execute their father's order. ससमुद्रम् उपविस्तीर्णम् अपश्यन् सुमहत्सरः महन् मन इव स्वच्छं प्रसन्नसलिलाशयम्. While traveling, the Prachetas happened to see a great reservoir of water which seemed almost as big as the ocean. The water of this lake was so calm and quiet that it seemed like the mind of a great soul, and its inhabitants, the aquatics, appeared very peaceful and happy to be under the protection of such a watery reservoir. नीलरक्तोत्पलाम्बोजां खलारेण्ये खल कह sorry कह्लारेन्दीवराकरं हंससारसचक्रावः कारण्डव निकूजितम्. In that great lake, there were different types of lotus flowers. Some of them were bluish, some of them were reddish. Some of them grew at night, some in the day, and some, like the Indivara lotus flower, in the evening. Combined together, the lotus flowers filled the lake so full that the lake appeared to be a great mine of such flowers. Consequently, on the shore there were swans and cranes, chakravaka, karandavas, and other beautiful water birds standing about. मत्तभ्रमर सौस्वर्य हृष्टरोमलताङ्घ्रिपं पद्मकोशरजो दिक्षु विक्षिपत् पवनोत्सवम्. There were various trees and creepers on all sides of the lake, and there were mad bumblebees humming all about them. The trees appeared to be very jolly due to the sweet humming of the bumblebees, and the saffron, which was contained in the lotus flowers, was being thrown into the air. These all created such an atmosphere that it appeared as though a festival were taking place there. तत्र गान्धर्वम् आकर्ण्य दिव्यमार्गमनोहरं विशिष्म्युः राजपुत्रास्ते मृदङ्गा पणवादि अनु. The sons of the king became very much amazed when they heard vibrations from various drums and kettle drums, along with other orderly musical sounds pleasing to the ear. तर्ह्येव सरसस्तस्मान् निष्क्रामन्तं सहानुगम् उपगीयमानम् अमर प्रवरं विबुधानुगैः तप्तहेमनिकायाभं शितिकण्ठं त्रिलोचनं प्रसादसुमुखं वीक्ष्य प्रणेमुर्जातकौतुकाः. The Prachetas were fortunate to see Lord Shiva, the chief of the demigods, emerging from the water with his associates. His bodily luster was just like molten gold, his throat was bluish, and he had three eyes which looked very mercifully upon his devotees. He was accompanied by many musicians who were glorifying him. As soon as the Prachetas saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered their obeisances in great amazement and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. सतान् प्रपन्नार्तिहरो भगवान् धर्मवत्सलः धर्मज्ञशीलसम्पन्नान् So Prita Pritan Upachaha. Lord Shiva became very pleased with the Prachetas because generally Lord Shiva is the protector of pious persons and persons of gentle behavior. Being very much pleased with the princess, he began to speak as follows. श्रीरुद्रवाच यूयं विदिशदः पुत्रा विदितं वच्चिकीर्षितम् अनुग्रहाय भद्रं वा एवं मे दर्शनं कृतम्. Lord Shiva said, "You are all the sons of King Prachina Barhi, and I wish all good fortune to you. I also know what you are going to do, and therefore I am visible to you just to show my mercy upon you. यः परं रंहसः साक्षात् त्रिगुणाज्जीव संजितात् भगवन्तं वासुदेवं प्रपन्नः स प्रियो हि मे. Lord Shiva continued, any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, the controller of everything, material nature as well as the living entity, is actually very dear to me. स्वधर्मनिष्ठशतः जन्मभिः पुमान् विरिञ्चिताम् एतत्परं हि माम् अव्याकृतं भागवतोतः वैष्णवं padam yathaham vibudah kalatyaye. A person who executes his occupational duty properly for 100 births becomes qualified to occupy the post of Brahma. And if he becomes more qualified, he can approach Lord Shiva. A person who is directly surrendered to Lord Krishna or Vishnu in unalloyed devotional service is immediately promoted to the spiritual planets. Lord Shiva and other demigods attain these planets after the destruction of this material world. अत भागवता यूयं प्रियस्थ भगवान् यथा न मद्भागवतानां च प्रेयान् अन्योस्ति कर्हि चेत्. You are all devotees of the Lord, and as such I appreciate that you are as respectable as the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. I know in this way that the devotees also respect me and that I am dear to them. Thus, no one can be as dear to devotees as I am. इदं विविक्तं जप्तव्यं पवित्रं मङ्गलं परं निःश्रेयस्य निःश्रेयसकरं चापि श्रूयतां तद्विदामि वः. Now I shall chant one mantra which is not only transcendental, pure and auspicious, but is the best prayer for anyone who is aspiring to attain the ultimate goal of life. When I chant this mantra, please hear it carefully and attentively. So we stop here so that tomorrow we will pick up Rudra Gita in incomplete. We'll go through verse 32 to 77. So we just go through very briefly what is that. Here we can see. Yeah, we remember the previous chapter is covering about uh, Pritu. He has attained perfection by performing all the duties, setting a standard as a role model for everyone, all the kings, and then he left. So Maitreya Rishi is continuing. He's saying Vijitatsva. Vijitatsva is the son, eldest son of Maharaj Prithu. If you remember, when Indra was coming to take away the what was that? The horse that was used by King Prithu in his yajna. At that time, Vijitatsva he mercifully excused Indra, mm, respecting him as a demigod, and that's why he was also called as Antardhana. And here we continue to know about him a bit. So, after the death of Maharaj Prithu, his eldest son Vijitatsva became emperor of the world. King Vijitatsva was very affectionate toward his younger brothers, and therefore he wanted them to rule different directions of the world. From time immemorial, the eldest son generally becomes king after death of the previous king. So, um, so he has distributed four directions of the world to among four brothers, and he asked them to rule. And Vijayasatva pleased the king of heaven, Indra, and from him received the title Antardhana. Antardhana means means disappearance. Antardhana means, we know this river Saraswati is called Antardhan. Why? Because we can't see Saraswati, but Saraswati is still there. So he received this title from Indra, and it refers to the time when Indra stole Maharaj Prithu's horse from the sacrificial arena. Indra was not visible to others when he was stealing the horse, but Maharaj Prithu's son Vijitarsva could see him. Yet, despite his knowing that Indra was taking away his father's horse, Vijitarsva did not attack. This indicates that Maharaj Vijitarsva respected the right persons. Although Indra was stealing the horse from his father, Vijitarsva knew perfectly well that Indra was not an ordinary thief. Hmm? Since Indra was a great and powerful demigod and servant of the Lord, Vijitarsva purposefully excused him due to sentiment only, even though Indra was acting wrongly. So this is, yeah, he got this title Antardhana. And then he had sons Pavaka, Pavamana, and then Suchi. Yeah, they were the three sons of Maharaj Antardhan. But due to the curse of great sage, yeah, when we know this, these are the names of the these are the names of the fires, different names. Pavamana, Pavaka, Shuchi. Hmm? As such, they were as powerful as fire gods, and they attained the destination of mystic yogic power, being again situated as demigods of fire. So the sons of Maharaj Antardhan had been the demigods in charge of fire, and they regained their former position and by mystic power returned heavenly planets. So they left again back. Antardhano Nabaswatyan. So then had another wife. Her name was Nabaswati, and from her he begot another son called Havirdhana. Uh, since Antardhan was very liberal, uh, he did not kill Indra while the demigod was stealing his father's horse sacrifice. So here in the purport, this is one of, yeah, very nice uh, verse how to behave, or Vaishnava etiquette. Yeah, here we can see it is understood from various scriptures and Puranas that the king of heaven, Indra, was very expert in stealing and kidnapping. He could steal anything without being visible to the proprietor, and he could kidnap anyone's wife without being detected. We know about Gautama Muni. Once uh, this is explained here. Although Antardhan could understand that King Indra was stealing the horse from his father, he did not kill Indra, for he knew that if one who is very powerful sometimes commits an abominable act, it should be disregarded. I have often heard from His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj this quote referred is Apichesu duracharo bhajate mam ananya bhag sadhur eva samantavya samyag vyavasito hi saha. That means, thus the Lord says that even if a devotee commits an abominable act, he should be considered a sadhu. Huh? Even if a devotee unknowingly, yeah, commits here, if he commits an abominable act, even if he commits what, not just not ordinary, not duracharo, suduracharo, extremely, or a pious man, he should be considered a pious man because of his unflinching faith. Bhajatoy mam ananya bhav. Because sadhureva samantavya samyag vyavasito hi saha. Because he has unflinching faith, devotion to the Lord, uh, means he is still well positioned. The devotees of the Lord never willingly commit any sinful act, but sometimes they commit something abominable due to their own previous habits. So, such acts should not be taken very seriously. It should not be taken into account, but should be overlooked. Uh, Not to be taken seriously, but should be overlooked. Think, okay, that's fine. Hmm. राज्ञां वृत्तिं कराधान दंड सल्कादि दारुणां मन्यमानो दीर्घसत्रं व्याजेन sorry yeah व्याजेन विससर्ज and then whenever Antardhana, he had to take taxes from people because he was very kind. He was not in a, yeah, he was not able to exact taxes from and punish the citizens. So eventually, after some time, na, consequently, he retired from the execution of such duties and engaged himself in performance of sacrifices. Therefore, on the plea of performing sacrifices, he retired from the royal majestic power at a very early age. तत्रापि हंसं पुरुषं परमात्मानम् आत्मदृक् यजं सल लोकताम् आप कुशलेन samadhina. Although Maharaj Antardhana was engaged in performing sacrifices, because he was a self-realized soul, he very intelligently rendered devotional service to the Lord, uh, who eradicates all the fears of his devotees. Hmm? So that is the beauty of one who is executing. I don't know if Pratik Prabhu, you are there. So here we can see what Antardhana Vijitatsva was doing is that he was engaging in devotional service in the name of sacrifices. And he was performing, it is said, in other words, he was performing the usual sacrifices by the method of Sankirtan Yajna as recommended. Shravanam Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Pada Sevanam, Archanam, Vandanam, Dasyam, Sakhyam, Atmanivedanam. So this is what he was doing. So, and then out of the five kinds of liberations, achieving the same planet where the Lord resides and living with the Lord, there is called Salokya liberation. So he got that. Hmm? Havirdhana, the son of Andardhana, had a wife named Havirdhani, uh, who gave birth to six sons named Barhishat, Gaya, Shukla, Krishna, Satya, and Jitavrata. So we are talking about now Barhishat. Barhishat uh, is the name of the king. Yeah, the great sage Maitreya continued. Havirdhana, very powerful son named Barhishat, was very expert in performing. Daksha means what? One who is expert. And usually, who are such experts become Prajapati. So here, Barhishat was very expert in performing various kind of fruitive sacrifices, and he was also expert in practice of mystic yoga. By his great qualification, he became Prajapati. Huh? In the purport, Prabhupada writes, there are many Prajapatis: Brahma Prajapati, Daksha Prajapati, Manu Prajapati are sometimes known as Prajapati, and Barhishat, the son of Havirdhana, became one of them. यस्येदं देवयजनम् अनुज्ञं वितन्वतः प्राचीनगृहैर् कुशैर आसीद आस्त्रितं वसुधातलम. And because of Maharaj Barhishat executed many sacrifices all over the world, he scattered kusha grasses and kept the tops of grass pointed eastward. What does that mean? Um, he that shows that he's an expert. All the time he was always busy with, yeah, performing yajnas. So for yajna, this grass, kusha grass, on which one sits, and it should be positioned in the eastward, which means he was almost always like that. As stated in the previous verse, kriya kandeshu nishnata, he is expert in that. Maharaj Barhisha dived very deeply into fruitive activities of sacrifice. This means as soon as he finished one yajna in one place, he began performing another yajna in another immediate vicinity. At the present moment, there is similar need of performing Sankirtan yajna all over the world. The Krishna consciousness movement has started performing Sankirtan yajna in different places, and it has been experienced that wherever Sankirtan yajna is performed, many thousands of people gather and take part in it. Imperceptible auspiciousness achieved in this connection should be continued all over the world. So on and so forth. So much so that all the people of the world will either jokingly or seriously chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And thus they will derive the benefit of cleansing the heart. The holy name of the Lord, Hare Rama, is so powerful that whether it is chanted jokingly or seriously, by the effect of vibrating this transcendental sound, will be equally distributed. So this is what here we can see. And the beauty of Sankirtan Yajna is mentioned in the purport is it costs nothing, which does not cost anything. One can sit down anywhere and chant Hare Krishna mantra. If the surface of globe if is over flooded with the chanting of Hare Krishna mantra, the people of the world will be very, very happy. And going further, so Maharaj Prachina Barhit Maharaj Barhishat, because he was doing so many yajnas. Yeah, Prachin means one way is ancient. Prachin also can mean also famous. Um, and henceforth known as Prachina Barhi, was ordered by the supreme demigod Brahma to marry the daughter of the ocean named Shatadriti. Shatadriti. And here the beauty of her is described so much that at that when the wedding was to take place, when mm, Prachina Barhishat and Shatadriti, they were walking around the fire. Then fire had a glimpse of the beauty of Shatadriti, and he even shamelessly desired to marry her, just like he had desired to enjoy Shuki. Hmm? So beautiful she was, and this is what is described. The word Shukim, Iva are significant. For the fire god Agni became attracted by the beauty of Shatadriti while she was circumambulating the bridegroom Prachina Barhi, just as he had previously been attracted to the beauty of Shuki, the wife of Saptarishi. When the fire god had been present long ago at the assembly of Saptarishi, he was attracted by the beauty of Shuki when she was circumambulating in the same way. Huh? Agni's wife, named Swaha, took the form of Shuki and enjoyed sex life with Agni. Not only the fire god Agni, but the heavenly god Indra and sometimes even Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva, all were highly situated demigods or sometimes are subject to being attracted by sex at any time. The sex drive is so strong in living entities that the whole material world is running on sex attraction, and it is due to sex attraction that one remains in the material world and is obliged to accept different types of bodies. The attraction of sex life is more clearly explained in the next verse, where it is said, because of that, were captivated by the tinkling of her ankle bells. uh, who Even the one who came there, they were all attracted. In other words, the demigods became captivated by her simply by hearing the tinkling of her ankle bells. They did not have to see her complete beauty. It is sometimes understood that a person becomes lusty just by hearing the tinkling of bangles or the hands of women or the tinkling of ankle bells or just by seeing a woman's sari. Thus, it is concluded that the woman is the complete representation of Maya. It goes further. प्राचीन बर्हिषत् पुत्राः शतधृत्यां दशा भवन् तुल्यनाम वृताः सर्वे स्नातः प्रचेतसः. So anyway, King Prachina Barhi begot 10 children from the womb of Shatadruti, and all of them were equally endowed with religiosity, and all of them were known as the Prachetas. Prachetas, yeah, let's remember there are 10 sons of Prachina Barhi, uh, um, were all merged in the practice of religion. In addition, they possessed all good qualities. One is supposed to be perfect when one is perfectly religious, perfect in execution of one's vows to render devotional service, perfect in knowledge, perfect in good behavior, and so on. All the prachetas were on the same level of perfection. Hmm? So, one sec. What's time? Okay. Anyway, so finally, then after that, their father said, "Go and hmm, mm, get ready to marry." And what does that mean? When all the sons of Prachinabarhi they left home to execute austerities, they, as the brahmacharis, they went to the forest to perform austerities before they get married. And what happened then? They met Lord Shiva, who, out of great mercy, instructed them about absolute truth. This absolute truth was sung by Lord Shiva, and it's called Rudra Gita. All the sons of Prachina Barhi meditated upon the instructions, chanting and worshipping them with great care and attention. Yeah. It is said, it is also the verdict of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who, while explaining the verse of Bhagavad Gita beginning, Vyavasayatmika Buddhir Ekeha Kurunandana, points out that the order of the spiritual master is the life substance of the disciple. The disciple should not consider whether he is going back home, back to Godhead. His first business should be to execute the order of his spiritual master. So here, the Prachetas had the great fortune that they got such a great guru, Lord Shiva. And the disciple's life is perfect when he just follows that with ekeha. Eka buddhi means one pointed intelligence, not dwelling in different sides, different directions, and want to do different things. Vidura asked Maitreya, huh, how come? Why did Prachetas meet Lord Shiva on the way? Please tell me how Lord Shiva became very pleased with them and how he instructed them. Certainly, such a talk is definitely very, very valuable, very beneficial. So, oh, uh, Maitreya, Vidura is asking, it is very difficult for living entities encaged within this material world to have personal contact with Lord Shiva. It's not at all easy. So, definitely, this is such a rare meet, and definitely it should be full of instructions. So that's why Vidura is asking, please tell me. Since Lord Shiva does not incarnate himself unless there is some special reason, it is very difficult for an ordinary person to contact him. However, Lord Shiva does descend on a special occasion when he is ordered by the Supreme Lord. In this regard, it is stated in Padma Puran that Lord Shiva appeared as a Brahmana in the age of Kali to preach the Mayavad philosophy, which is nothing but a type of Buddhist philosophy. Mayavadam यशत शास्त्रम प्रच्छन्नं बौद्धम उच्यते मय एव विहितं देवी कलो ब्राह्मण मूर्तिना. So in that way, Lord Shiva is telling to Parvati Devi that he would spread Mayavad philosophy in the guise of a sannyas Brahmin just to eradicate Buddhist philosophy. This sannyasi was none other than Sripad Shankaracharya. It goes further, but we'll just quickly go through the remaining few verses. So here we can see Lord Shiva, the most powerful demigod, second only to Lord Shiva, is self-sufficient. Although he has nothing to aspire for in the material world, for the benefit of those in the material world, he is always busily engaged everywhere and is accompanied by his dangerous energies like goddess Kali and goddess Durga. Lord Shiva is one of the 12 Mahajanas. Swayambhur Narada Shambhum Kumara Kapilo Manuhu Prahlada Janako Bhishmo Balir Vayasakir Vayam. So in that way we can see Lord Shiva is great, and in fact he has his own Sampradaya, Vishnu Swami Sampradaya, uh, and the current Vishnu Swami Sampradaya is also known as Vallabha Sampradaya. So the current Brahma Sampradaya is known as Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya. Even though Lord Shiva appeared to preach Mayavad philosophy at the end of his pastimes in the form of Shankaracharya, he preached the Vaishnava philosophy, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam, Bhajagovindam Mudhamate. If one is actually serious to attain mukti, he must worship Lord Krishna. That is Sri Pada Shankaracharya's last instruction. Hmm. So, in this way, we can see how everything is clear. Hmm. In contrast, a Vaishnava or a worshipper of Lord Vishnu gradually becomes poorer in material position because Lord Vishnu does not trick his devotees into becoming materially entangled by possessions. So, all as I said, verse number 18 has quite some detail to understand the philosophy uh, of Shaivism, yeah, and the purpose of worshipping demigods, what happens and what happens when one worships Krishna, everything is described there. Thus, in this verse, Lord Shiva is described as being accompanied by dangerous potencies, Shaktya, Ghoraya, and that is actual position of Lord Shiva. And Maitreya, after Vidura has asked, he starts explaining that, my dear Vidura, because of their pious nature, all the sons of Prachina Barhi very seriously accepted the words of their father, and they left to the forest. They came across a reservoir of water and Sasamudra near the sea. Uh, uh, the reservoir of water was like a bay, for it was not very far from the sea. The word Upa means more or less. So Upapati. So and then Neela Raktotpalam Voja Kal Kahla Rendivaraakaram. This is said in that great lake there is wonderful flowers, there are beautiful birds, and Matta Brahmara Sauswara Swarya, And then in that trees, creepers, everything was so beautiful. At that tatra gandharvam akarna divya marga manoharam vishishmyu rajaputraste mridanga panavadyanu. So when they came across such a wonderful water bed filled with lot of kinds of flowers, like a mine of flowers, were there. They heard to these drums and kettle drums, and from there emerged Lord Shiva. Tadhi eva saras tasman niskramantam sahanugam upagiyamanam amara pravaram vibudanugahihi tapta hema nikayabam shita kantam trilochanam prasada sumukham vikshya pranemur jata kautukaha. Amazed. Kautuhalam. Kautuka means being amazed by the situation. As soon as the Prachetas saw Lord Shiva, they immediately offered obeisances in amazement and fell down at the lotus feet of the Lord. And Lord Shiva became very pleased with Prachetas. Why? It is mentioned because they were very pious. Second, because they are gentle behavior. Third, Shiva is Dharma Vatsala, one who is following the Dharma. Lord Shiva protects them. And Prachetas are sons of Vaishnava, Prachina Barhi. Shiva, as such, offered prayers to Krishna. So these are all the reasons why Prachetas had got the chance to see a Vaishnava like Lord Shiva. Vaishnavas are pleased and offer blessings. Shiva blessed. Why? Because he knows that they are going to worship Vasudeva. A devotee need not try to please all demigods separately. Demigods are prepared to help devotees in circumstances. And here Lord Shiva, he comes. And then in this verse number 27, it is said, Lord Shiva said, "You are all the sons of King Prachina Barhi, and I wish all good fortune to you." Why? I also know what you are going to do, and therefore I am visible to you just to show my mercy to you. So, because he knows that they are going to worship Lord Vasudeva, Krishna, that's why he is pleased. That's why he came. Why Lord Shiva came before princes? Because they are devotees. Any person who is surrendered to Vasudeva is uh, pleases the devotees. Lord Shiva continued, any person who is surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, controller of everything, Krishna, material nature as well as living entity, is actually very dear to me. So you are very dear. And then he said, now I am going to give you a very, very powerful mantra. The conclusion is that a devotee of Lord Shiva is not dear to Lord Shiva, but a devotee of Lord Krishna is very dear to Lord Shiva. That's why here, when he saw Prachetas coming, Lord Shiva was very happy, and he suggests, he says he is going to give a wonderful ata bhagavata yuyam priyasta bhagavan yata namad bhagavantanam cha preyas anyosti karhichit. He's saying thus no one can be dear as dear to the devotees as I am. So Lord Shiva is saying, I am very, very dear to those who are devotees of the Lord, the Supreme Lord. Um, and because he is so dear, he want to bless them the best. From this verse, it appears that Lord Shiva blesses the Asura simply for the sake of formality. Actually, he loves one who is devoted to the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Idam viviktam japatyam pavitram mangalam param nishreyasa karam chapi sruyatam tad vadami vaha. Uh, I shall chant one mantra which is not only transcendental, pure and auspicious, pavitram mangalam param, but is the best prayer of anyone who is aspiring to attain the ultimate goal of life. When I chant this mantra, please hear it carefully and attentively. Uh, Okay, we'll continue from there tomorrow. Yeah, thank you. Okay, uh, yeah, let's close this here, and we will pick up from here Lord Shiva's wonderful song. And and this is the mantra which gives ultimate success in our endeavor, in our devotional life. And yeah, let's hear that tomorrow. वंशकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्यः च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। Hare Krishna.